Now, speaking of characters, and we did, mention him earlier, I won't say his name too loud. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk at least a little bit about Broseph Joe Brody. So now, while we know that you are totally not him IRL, can you tell me a little bit more just about your relationship to Nickelback's #1 fan?
I should tell you all you need to know about Broseph Joe Brody.
Kind of does. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Let's Get Cereal, the weekly show where I, your host, Alyssa Marino, eat cereal, talk about stuff, and sometimes talk to people. Today's very awesome and talented people is none other than announcer, broadcaster, host, actor, voice of Buzz in WWE 2K19 and 2K20, wedding officiant. Like, the list just goes on. My pal and fellow cereal fan, AJ Kirsch. Hello, my friend.
Wow. What a lovely introduction. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm genuinely excited to be here. Cereal is such a treat for me, and I know how relentlessly passionate you are about it. And obviously our paths have crossed a number of times in the wacky world of wrestling. So for us to be making this happen, I'm super pumped. Super pumped.
I'm super stoked. And this was a very special kind of cereal endeavor that happened and kind of came about on social media. So without further ado, I'd love to show our breakfast buddies at home what today's cereal is. Drumroll, please, and go. Okay,
yeah.
So now you had some lofty goals that you shared with me regarding this box of cereal. Would you care to share that with our breakfast buddies at home?
I would love to share it, although, I'll share it first and then I'll follow with the maybe an afterthought. So my goal is to finish the box by the time we're done here today. But I don't want to make that my primary goal because I have a feeling that means it's just going to be a lot of very crunchy, noisy chewing. And while it's going to be happening, I have a bowl here, we're going to be eating cereal, of course. But I don't know that that's all I want to be doing the whole time. I don't want to be talking with my mouth full the whole time. It's just rude. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a heathen, but I don't want to be talking with my mouth full the whole time. So if it happens, great. If not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I deliberately didn't eat any solid food until now, and it is, as of the time of this recording, 1:16 on the West Coast. So I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh! Well, let's get into it and let's go to town. All right.
Let's get cereal.
Let's get cereal. Oh my god. Okay. It made me work for it. It made me work for it.
Should we just take the bouquet in first, since we just opened the?
And also too, just a sidebar. I'm curious about the difference between regular Reese's Puffs and the clusters. Are we gonna be taken off guard by this change of format?
That's the thing, and that's kind of how this came about. Is I was well, I'm gonna be lenient on my diet. What should I eat? And you were like, I think we both know what the answer is, or something like that. Where it's and I had been thinking about I've had a cereal craving, and my favorite. Not lifelong, but recently, as I've treated cereal as a treat, is Reese's Puffs. I love chocolate. I love peanut butter. I love cereal. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I saw the crunch, and I saw, I tweeted or texted you, and I was just what do you think about, I think I tweeted you, and I was what do you think about this? And it was a picture of the cluster, and you were go for it. And I didn't, because the craving I had specifically was Reese's Puffs. And as you just said, I don't know if the crunch, the shape of them, is going to lead to a different sensory experience. And I was you know what? I'm going to go with the classic round puff. But I'm really glad to be making this happen, because I'm not kidding you. I've been thinking about the clusters ever since. So I'm very excited to see how it hits.
Heck yeah. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
What is your milk of choice?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. So I am generally meat. I shouldn't say meat and dairy free. I don't keep meat or dairy in my apartment. It's just a health choice. If I do, on the rare occasions when I do, it's usually almond milk. But because I treat cereal as a treat, as an irregular indulgence, then I go for what I drank as a kid, which is just straight up fat-free milk.
Oh, there is such a nostalgia to cereal as well that we are going to get into because it's half the fun of this show.
Right.
So I'm an almond milk person, so I'm gonna get going on here.
Yeah, here we go.
I like too that it's such a little mini container because it does remind you of like school lunch, like the little itty bitty pint of milk. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right, exactly. And I got another one like in the fridge just in case I do want to have another bowl. I'm going to be snacking out of the bag at some point, just straight up, like Saturday morning watching cartoons. But
exactly. This is the vibe we're going for. So
yeah. Without
further ado, my breakfast buddies and AJ Kirsch, my pal. Let's get cereal.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh God.
It's different. It's a different experience. The mouthfeel feels different.
I'm almost getting Cap'n Crunch vibes as far as the crunchiness of it.
Okay.
Not the taste, but the crunch.
Yes, I'm happy to report. Taste still the same. Still very much enjoyable. The the holy grail of chocolate peanut butter, which is such a beautiful combination, as you said.
Right.
So let's take it back because we were talking about, the mini carton of milk and, the fat-free milk you would enjoy as a kid. What was AJ Kirsch like as a little kid?
I was very shy. I was definitely a video game nerd. Was a very late social bloomer when it came to dating and really just anything outside my immediate circle of friends. I was a lazy, doughy kid. Like, I did not do much besides go to school, play video games, watch wrestling. And this was before I decided to actually, pursue wrestling. So I was, eating pizza and french fries every day for lunch and just, 2 or 3 sodas a day. And my mom, to this day, still makes, the best chocolate chip cookies in the world. And if anybody disagrees, I will fight you. I will fight you through YouTube. So yeah, I was just eating very unhealthy and I wasn't really happy with how I looked or how I felt. And so, it was really deciding to pursue pro wrestling that kind of turned that switch for me. And so I had to drop a lot of the things that I was eating. And even though every single commercial says part of a complete breakfast, cereal's not necessarily the healthiest thing. It's not the healthiest, but damn, is it delicious.
Damn, it is delicious, in fact. Now, being that you were a little bit more kind of withdrawn as a kid, did you find yourself going to more kind of creative pursuits?
That's a good question. I wasn't really sure what I was going to pursue. I just knew that I loved pro wrestling. My first love was actually video games, but at the time, there was not even a concept of Twitch. And so, of course, the common phrase was, you're never going to make any money playing video games. And now, Ninja, you bastard, you're like a trillionaire or whatever. That's the only streamer I know by, except Grand Pooh Bear. Shout out to Grand Pooh Bear, who's going to be commentating at Hoodslam on Friday, March the 4th in Oakland, along with that douchey McDouche pants Broseph Joe Brody.
Oh, we're gonna get to Broseph a little later, but
okay.
yeah.
I'll try not to be too loud. He's passed out. He's been passed out in my closet ever since the pandemic started, in a puddle of what I'm hoping is whiskey sweat.
Oh, I mean, he's been, I think, just on a bender the whole time, so it's like, ugh.
Sometimes he's in there, sometimes he's not, but he always ends up there. He's just sleeping hard right now. So I'm gonna, turn him on his side and leave a Gatorade by him. He'll be happy.
There you go. As long as he has his shoes off, he's good, right?
If I had a dime for every time I drove a penis on his forehead, he had to learn quickly. He had to learn real quick.
Oh, it's the trials and tribulations. So, okay. So, I mean, obviously you ended up turning your love of video games and your love of pro wrestling into this combined amazing achievement as Buzz. But I want to take it back to when you first were deciding to pursue wrestling. You shared that you did have to make some changes to diet and stuff like that. Now, you talked on social media, sharing some discourse on cheat days. Do you have a particular favorite junk food? Maybe it's cereal. I don't know. Don't feel like you have to say it's cereal, but a particular favorite junk food that you like to enjoy and indulge in on cheat days.
Nowadays? Let's see. Well, before we kind of move on, I do want to shout out some of my cereal favorites as a kid, if that's okay. All right.
Let's go, please.
Cracklin Oat Bran. If y'all what? No, nothing.
I just feel like for like a kid's cereal, it feels so adult. It feels so boring.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I just mean aesthetics wise, but fair.
Right. I thought you weren't aware of it. I'm like,
oh,
what?
no.
Okay, cool.
Come on,
cool,
how could I not?
Right. Yeah, I just thought it was delicious. And yeah, it's not like Cookie Crisp or something, which was also one of my favorites. It didn't have like cartoons plastered across it or anything, but it was delicious. And they were all shaped like these like little O's, and I don't know, it's just like this nice combination of crunchy and sweet, and it tasted healthy because it wasn't as sweet as like Cookie Crisp. As an AJ, always have a soft spot for Apple Jacks. Always.
Oh yeah.
Always. And let's see, were there really any others? Those are the big ones as far as cereal. But more than anything, I ate my mom's homemade granola, which is another just treat that to this day I'm just like, oh, it's so good. It makes me feel like a kid. Every spoonful makes me feel like a kid.
That's the beauty, I think, of the way that food connects us. It's because, I mean, they say scent is tied to memory, but I think like taste is so tied to like experiences. Oh, absolutely. Very sensory kind of experience.
I agree. And since I've been stricken with COVID for the last week and a half, I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and one that I revisited is this one called Chef's Table on Netflix. And it's just a very beautifully shot, really they're human interest pieces on these very accomplished chefs, which is fascinating personal stories. And for a lot of them, it goes back to taste just being a very grounding, nostalgic reminder of like a simpler time in their lives. And so I do think it's absolutely smell, but just that taste, just like I said, mom's cookies or mom's granola, or really anyone's home cooking, I guess, when they were growing up, or, like just the way a food like tastes specifically when someone makes it is just just brings you back. It really does.
Because I guarantee if you lined up any other chocolate chip cookie against your mama's chocolate chip cookies, you'd be able to pick them out of a lineup for sure.
100%. And like, don't get me wrong, every now and then I'll get a sleeve of Oreos or something. You were talking about treat meals. Like,
sure,
I'll down an entire container of cookies from Whole Foods or Safeway or something, or Nutter Butters. Speaking of peanut butter, anything with peanut butter.
Yeah.
What's another treat meal? Burgers. I'm a big burger guy.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever put peanut butter on a burger?
Okay, so I'm a vegetarian. My boyfriend has had peanut butter on a burger, and the smell was kind of interesting, but I have not tried it personally. Okay. I don't think it would work with veggie burgers, because I think like the vegetables and the peanut butter might be weird.
I think it'd be too bad, but I would be more hesitant to try it on a veggie burger than I would a meat burger. But I tried it once when I was in college, and I was bringing peanut butter with me to burger places to add peanut butter to a burger. It's that good. I will never go back. Well, no, I mean, I'll have a burger without it, but if I don't have peanut butter on me at the time.
But you never know. You never know. What happened?
I should have a little Tupperware that's like, okay, phone, wallet, cheese, peanut butter, and I'm set.
You gotta come prepared,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, burgers, cookies, really anything with peanut butter. Oh, God, what else? Mexican food. I also have a very guilty soft spot for Panda Express. I just love trashy. Just the trashier, the better. That's treat meal day is a day to get like nasty.
It is. It really is. So, okay. So eventually, though, we have these little forays into the world of cheat days, but pursuing pro wrestling. So, from rocking the promo to competing on WWE and AEW in the past, you've had some really incredible opportunities in your wrestling career. And I'm sure that with these experiences comes a good deal of nervous energy. What are some of your tips on how to handle, pre-performance butterflies?
That's a great question. One moment. I feel like I have to put my bowl down for that one and add some more cereal here in a second. I try to keep in mind that there's like a balance of you are here for a reason, and now go out there and prove why you deserve to stay here. There was a quote from Paul Heyman, which any pro wrestling fan will be well acquainted with, and he says he treats every performance as an audition for his appearance the following week. And so, as much fun as I have and as comfortable as I am in some of these roles, I'm constantly looking for ways to change and push myself in a way that allows me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Whether that's writing some jokes ahead of time and seeing if they land, or maybe that's an especially long introduction where I'm, I don't have notes out there when I'm in the ring welcoming everybody to Hoodslam. So it's like, let's see how acquainted I can get a newcomer with what's going on in this crazy universe. Maybe it's, just being a little bit more physically interacting with the crowd. So like I try to come up with a way that I can improve on my game with every performance and then bring it with me the next time I'm out there. It doesn't mean just with Hoodslam. Like it could be with Best of the West, which is a promotion in the Fresno area I'm a part of. Or it could be with an acting gig or a voiceover gig. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really lucky to be involved in so many different aspects of performance, is because I feel like they all kind of feed each other. And the experience I get from one, I can bring to another.
And kind of speaking of that, how do you feel like, pre-show jitters differ when you're stepping into the ring to physically compete as opposed to hosting or announcing?
Well, if I'm wrestling, it's definitely more of a sprint, because I'm only in the ring or I shouldn't even say in the ring. I'm only like in front of the crowd for 10 or 15 minutes. If I'm going out there to host a show, it's a little bit more of like, pace yourself, man. You've got 3 hours, sometimes 4, depending on how many matches are on the card. Good Lord. So it's less like, if I'm hosting a show, it's just like, here we go, and then step through the curtain. If I'm wrestling, it's a little bit more intense, because I realize I only have so much time to get it all out.
Yeah.
Round 2, let's go!
Round 2, keep it going. So
yeah.
Now taking it from kind of the pro wrestling world into the world of voice acting. As a voice actor, you get to kind of suspend disbelief to lend your voice to characters in another world. So if you could be plopped into any animated series or movie, which one would you pick and why?
Whoa, great question. So 2 shows pop up immediately, which is Simpsons and South Park. Like, growing
Classics.
up, Simpsons is like 30 plus years, 35 years, I think, Simpsons, and South Park is about to enter its 25th season. So, like, they're both just legendary. They're part of the pop culture quilt at this point.
Yeah.
So to have any role on either of those would be amazing. There are no more new episodes because the show stopped airing, but I would have loved to have been a voice on BoJack Horseman. That was a great, great show. I encourage anybody to check it out. An amazing combination of silly pun-based humor, just like laugh out loud hilarity, and also some really penetrating feels on that show. Really, really good feels. Good in a way that they're like real. They're dark and they're conflicting, and just good as in like, hey, understand what it's like to be human, even though most of them are animals. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's totally fair. I haven't watched it myself, but even just from like memes or screen caps that I've seen, like some of it, I'm like, oh, this is deep. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I think you would like it particularly as a performer too, because BoJack is, he was an actor on a popular '90s sitcom who is now like struggling to find out what's next. And not that you're necessarily struggling to find out what's next, but performers, when something comes to an end, it's just like, well, gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
And
now what?
And now what? Right. And I think everybody's been in that position, especially any actor or performer has just found themselves like, okay, well, that was fun. And now what?
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I will add that to my list and check that out. But now say for instance, not even just lending your voice to a particular role, but if you could just be living in the world of any animated series, complete fantasy situation, where would you go?
That's another really good question. Oh God. Okay. So I was going to say Rick and Morty.
Whoa.
But I'm pretty sure I would die.
Yeah.
Because that's just what happens. They leave a trail of destruction in their wake because Morty wants to do the right thing, and thousands, sometimes entire galaxies get destroyed in the process. So I'm going to retract Rick and Morty.
Fair.
And let's see. Have you ever heard of Midnight Gospel?
I watched one episode of it. Super trippy.
Right, exactly. Super, super trippy. And so since I already said Simpsons and South Park and don't want to repeat myself, I'm just getting into it myself. Midnight Gospel is just a fascinating... It's an acid trip, basically. It's an animated acid trip where, like, anything can happen. And not like in the Rick and Morty sense where it's very destructive and everything. It's like this main character can enter a simulation where he's existing in any world at any time and like treats it like a show that he shares online. And I don't know, it's super interesting. Midnight Gospel, check it out. Just try one episode. It's weird. It's freaking weird, but that's part of its charm.
For the visuals alone, I could see that being a very interesting world to inhabit for even a brief period of time. Okay.
Yep.
Well, now speaking of characters, and we did, mention him earlier, I won't say his name too loud. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk at least a little bit about Broseph Joe Brody. So now, while we know that you are totally not him IRL, can you tell me a little bit more just about your relationship to Nickelback's #1 fan?
I should tell you all you need to know about Broseph Joe Brody.
Kinda does.
Yeah, he means well. He means well. He may not let anybody see it, but his heart's in the right place. Mm-hmm. He can be a little abrasive. He can be a little obtuse. Mm-hmm. He can be a little rude. He's just kind of obnoxious sometimes. But and not a lot of people can tolerate him long enough to have a decent conversation with him. But because I agreed to let him crash in my closet during the pandemic, he only comes out to work out and for Hoodslam. And even then, he's found a way to just work out in the closet, which is fine by me, because when he's in the apartment, it just starts smelling like Axe and regret. And that's just not a pleasant combination. Yeah. So he means well. And I think that comes through a little bit when he does host Hoodslam. I think he's grown to appreciate the jeers from the crowd. I think he just kind of likes that type of attention. But he also, I just know how much it means to him that he gets to kind of guide everybody through the jubilant madness that is the accidental phenomenon.
What a beautiful way to describe Hoodslam. And, we could psychoanalyze Broseph all day long. We don't need to go there. But, while it has been an unsure and very, turbulent times within the past 2-ish years now, last fall you were able to be part of the return of Hoodslam in Oakland. So first and foremost, what was the experience of being back in front of the fans like for you?
It was could you imagine being away from cereal for 18 months?
I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like being away from cereal for 18 months and then pouring that first bowl again. It was just this feels right. This feels not new, but reinvigorated. Mm-hmm. Reinvigorated. It felt familiar enough to be we all know what we're doing here. Let's just go out and do it. but it was a new level of gratitude for being able to perform with everybody in that locker room, with that cast and crew, who are an amazing cast and crew. Like the folks at the Metro, who you know very well, having been one half of the commentary team at Glam alongside the Link to the Future, Anton Voorhees. Shout out to Anton Voorhees, #butt stuff. He and everybody else are just so absurdly talented. And those fans, I mean, you know, we're used to having several hundred, north of 500 at the Oakland Metro. We had 2,000 that night, and they were just waiting for it. And we were just waiting to give it to them. And that night, as the saying goes, we the fans.
You certainly did, in the very much, what was it? Stimulation to the amygdala sort of sense. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Exactly. It was very stimulating for everybody.
And very magical, I'm sure. But, you know,
it was.
There are lots of things about Hoodslam that are very magical. Now, you've spent your fair share of time around this beautiful madness. And Hoodslam has been home to many dramatic storylines that have taken competitors throughout various dimensions through the time-space continuum. And there have been plenty of, amazing costumes and zaniness galore, etc. For you, and I've asked this question to Dark Sheik, I've asked this question to Anton, that's my commentary partner. What is the most bizarre thing that you have seen take place at a Hoodslam event?
Whoa. That is a tall order there to complete that. Okay, a couple things come to mind. Let's see,
I'll join you here for a little.
Okay, cool. Butternut is one could say the mascot of Hoodslam. He is or was. Some might say he's a stuffed horse. Anybody who is on our side of the curtain and anybody who was present at a Hoodslam will tell you that Butternuts was very real. But at first glance, Butternuts is a stuffed horse. At the Hoodslam this past November, our resident mad scientist, Doc Atrocity, claims to have revived Butternuts. Butternuts is great. I don't even think Butternuts ever looked better.
Huh.
I'm not so sure it's like 100% Butternuts. You know when, I don't know, it's like when Michael Bay did Ninja Turtles. Do you know what I mean? It's like, is it really Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Is it really? I see that they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but is it Ninja Turtles? So when Doc Atrocity brought out this clean, head intact, like young-looking Butternuts, it was like, and it's Doc Atrocity, who can never be trusted. Never.
This is fair. Yeah, okay, so maybe something just didn't feel right in that situation. Okay.
Broseph got a good look at Butternuts, and just, you could see it in Broseph's face. He wasn't buying it. It's not the sharpest knife in the shed. Tool in the shed? Tool in the shed is very appropriate for Broseph. He's not the sharpest tool. It's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but, Bro's got intuition. He's got intuition.
Yeah, definitely some bro instincts for sure. Okay. Well, now we're going to have to see what happens coming up March 4th, right. Correct?
Friday, March 4th, as in we will March 4th. These last 2 years have been a son of a bitch, but you know what? You can't keep a good accidental phenomenon down. Hoodslam is back. We're going to be on the actual street, which is going to be amazing. I don't know if they got permits or if they're just going to throw up some barricades or what, but this is going to take place in the street. 21 and over, don't bring your effing kids. Tickets are on sale right now by searching Hoodslam on eventbrite.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So be sure
Of course, thank you.
Of course, and we have to make sure our breakfast buddies know everything that's going on. Now, speaking about everything that's going on, I'm coming down to the end of my serial. So where can our breakfast buddies find you? What have you got coming up next? And what do you need them to know? Exactly.
So
I
finish
picked the
by
best
first.
time.
Thank you.
Yep. Of
Right.
course.
Let's see. I just want to check and see.
Whoa.
I think I should do it.
You came out here, I think, with that intention and with that kind of, you know, it was in the back of your mind. I say go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, and you know what? I
Make
don't
it
feel
happen.
like it's taken away. I don't feel like it's taken away from answering questions or anything. So you know what? This is happening.
You know what? I applaud this.
Thank you. Although I am going to need to get more milk, so I will be right back.
Time out.
Game on!
Game on. Good. Okay. We like a good Wayne's World reference.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people can find me. I'm on social media way too much. I'm trying to cut back. It's like I sound like an alcoholic, right? Like I'm trying to cut back. One day
Only
at a
on
time,
weekends,
man.
you know. Yeah.
Right. If it's a social thing, well, it is a social thing. It's in the name of the thing that it is. But yeah, so I am at AJ Kirsch, which is AJKIRSBH on, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. I don't use Snapchat. Does anybody use Snapchat anymore? I feel like that kind of.
I think that there's the youngins. The youngins. I think that
right,
they still do.
Selling, or not selling, but like sharing pictures of their naughty bits. Is that how they do it now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how the kids are doing it nowadays. Like, not my forte, nor do I want it to be. But anyway, at AJ Kirsch, yeah, Facebook. My public page is I am AJ Kirsch. I feel like I'm missing something. YouTube? I think I said YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. If you want me to marry you, I can. I'm an ordained minister and a wedding officiant. I've done about 20 weddings so far. I would love to make your big moment happen. You can reach out to me at marriedbyaj@gmail.com.
And while you take the break for that, I was so curious because I mean now that we've poured the extra cereal, how did the wedding officiating kind of happen?
So that came about. The idea started after I won Rock the Promo, which was the short version is it was a 10-week episodic single elimination pro wrestling style trash talk tournament that Legends of Pro Wrestling evaluated and that Dwayne Johnson himself would declare the winner. And Broseph will tell you that I'm riding his coattails, but Broseph technically won Rock the Promo. I just, attach it to my resume as if I had anything to do with it. I think I had something to do with it. Broseph maintains that I don't, but that's coming from Nickelback's #1 fans. Take that with a grain of salt.
Fair.
Anyway, so I wanted to, public speaking is something that people are generally terrified to do. Like, it is still the #1 fear among Americans is talking in public. And so I was like, I'm good at it. I'm confident doing it. It doesn't stress me out. What's a way that I can parlay this into another kind of side hustle in a way that's just fun and makes me feel good. It makes other people feel good. And I'm like, well, how hard is it to be ordained? Turned out it's laughably easy. It's like $20 and a 10-question quiz online, and they email you your certificate that says, congratulations, you are an ordained minister in the Church of American Marriage Ministries, or whatever it's called. So, and I just put it out there on social media. I'm just like, look, I'm ordained. I would love to marry people, and I've done 20 weddings since September of 2017.
That's amazing.
So, hey, thank you. If pro wrestling and performing doesn't work out, I would love to be a full-time wedding officiant. It's just the best. It's the best. It's such a fun gig.
And honestly, I saw some photos too of outtakes where you were catching the bride's bouquet. So you do get your fair share of fun in. I'm curious in the whole, I guess application process. What were some of these questions like in order to be ordained and to get that certificate?
I don't even remember. I did it so long ago. I think I got ordained actually in 2015. I had the thought before, but it was after winning Rock the Promo where I'm just like, I should do this. Now there's never been a better time to actually get the wheels going to make this happen. So I just put it out there on social media and like I said, it was I'm not, an influencer by any means, but I have a decent enough following where I feel like if I put something out there, people will listen and be interested. And so it was nice to see that that was the case. And I'm talking with two couples right now and preparing their ceremonies for later this year. And it's just super, I don't know, it just makes me feel good.
Heck yeah, that's an awesome feeling. We like feel good, and we want to keep, feel good, happy energy going. With that being said, oh yes,
I have a question.
Sure.
What do you have coming up? What do you have cooking? What's going on with you?
For me, I have more episodes of Let's Get Cereal every Saturday. Where I eat cereal and talk about stuff, and sometimes talk to people. I also have been working with, CCW, so I've been doing their CCW podcast. Their event just got postponed, so that's going to be happening in February. Just kind of doing commentary wherever I can.
Hey, speaking of commentary, I heard a rumor.
I did too.
So, are you saying it's true? Because What's His Nuts has not really stopped talking about it.
I didn't think he would.
Yeah, so I don't really know what to believe, of course, when it's coming out of his mouth. So I feel like I should check with you, since he's been, dropping your name all over the place.
I've heard whispers and murmurs that Broseph, Joe, Brody, and I will be teaming up for commentary at 5cc.
Whoa! Oh my God! That's really cool. I mean, I'm excited for him because it'll give him something to do and get him out of the apartment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is it remote or are you going to be live?
I've heard remote. In which case, prepare for whatever studio area you have in your house to smell like axe and regret.
So my closet. Okay. So my closet. I mean, at least it's not going to spread anywhere, though. That was my big concern. But you know what? That's okay. It's going to give him something to do. Maybe he'll be able to chip in for some rent after crashing in my place for 2 years, rent-free.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool, right?
Right. But I don't know that you and Broseph have, crossed paths from time to time, but I don't think you two have ever worked together.
We have not. I'm. There's a bit of trepidation, I'm just. I hope our personalities click,
Yeah. You're right to feel that way. But if there's one thing I know you are, and one thing that I know he is, it's a couple of professionals. So I think it's gonna go great.
Wonderful.
I did see your face when I dropped that professional line, and I just want to prepare you that it doesn't stop. He has a very extensive vocabulary.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I don't really talk about this much, but we are linked by a voodoo curse. And so, yeah. So, kind of what happens to me happens to him, or, information that I receive, he somehow is also aware of it. So, yeah, he clearly knows somehow. He just already knows. I'm coming to the end of my cereal. How do we like?
Oh. Yes, we're gonna cheers and bottoms up.
Yeah, we're gonna cheers and bottoms up.
Bottoms up. It's like, how can you make chocolate milk better? And the answer is add peanut butter.
Right. It goes with everything.
It really does. Honestly, this was so much fun. I'm so glad we were able to connect, and I'm glad that you were able to, celebrate rejoining the world and celebrate a cheat day with a little bit of Reese's Clusters, which actually I think totally pulled through and actually were really enjoyable.
I agree. As my bowl's officially empty. I did it! They're gone!
In post, I'm going to put in an applause track here.
Oh, good. Great. I love it. Thank you. Proud moment for me and my family. So I saw on Twitter that sometimes you rate with spoons. Is that correct? Do we rate cereal? Are we rating?
We can. I would give this out of 5, we're going to say?
Out of 5 spoons.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can do a half spoon. It's a teaspoon if you do a half spoon.
Ooh, okay. I would say 4.75 enthusiastic spoons up.
Wow. Amazing. There you go. You know what? I'm going to give it a full-blown 5.
Give it a full
5 spoons. Because I too was a little bit skeptical about the clustered nature of the cereal.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but the cereal itself is so good. Like that's not a bad thing. It's just a more textural experience for the mouth than just the typical round puffs are. But the bottom line is, you really can't go wrong with either. If you want a little extra crunch, go for the clusters. But if you want to stick with the classic, I mean, Reese's Puffs, you can't go wrong.
You can't. You really can't. And we can't go wrong with this awesome chat and with all the fun stuff that's happening and all the good things that are on the horizon. So, our paths will be crossing again very soon, or, mine and Broseph's. But in the meantime, I am so excited to see what is next for you and what you're going to be doing. We have all the social media links for all of our breakfast buddies to check out. Any, parting words for our friends at home?
Be sure to check out your Patreon, right? Don't you have a Patreon that you can
totally.
Right. Put that link in there too. Like, I'm sure the description, you can do the link in the description, right?
We're going to do it. We're going to put it right.
Awesome.
Pop it right there.
I love it. So thank you for watching, I guess. Thank you very much for having me. That was a big burp. Just freed up a lot of space.
There you go.
That was a big one. Yeah. Any closing remarks? Let's see. Nope.
Cool.
Pretty sure we covered everything. So just follow me on social media, follow Alyssa on social media, and this was awesome. Thank you again for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me, and to our breakfast buddies at home. Until next time, my friends, continue to do your best to be your best, and we will see you later.